Hey guys, today I'm gonna get kind of cozy. I've got my coffee here, I have a comfy shirt, I got my sweatpants. I mean, I've always got sweatpants on, but today I'm gonna talk to you guys about something a little bit more personal, something kind of close to my heart. I'm gonna talk about staying in touch with people that you're not with right now. Your first thought might be about relationships with this, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and obviously that's 100% applicable, but this is also super applicable to friendships and to family relationships. Most of us have a friend or a family member, at least one, who we're not with and we want to be with, and we probably were with at some point. Whether it's because you've moved away or they've moved away, you're just not together anymore. So you go from seeing that person all the time to hardly ever seeing them. I'm not gonna lie, it gets really hard to do this, especially when it's someone you're really close to. But it's very possible, and moving away or being apart from someone for a long time is not a good reason to give up a relationship or to give up a friendship. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about this and give you guys some tips, or at least stuff that I use personally, to stay in touch with people a little better. The first one seems kind of obvious, but it really can be kind of challenging to play out in your actual life, and that's to be available at certain times and to tell that person when you're available, and also to know when that person is available. When I first started my long distance relationship, one of the hardest things was just to know when we were going to call. Is it going to happen in the mornings, in the afternoons, in the evenings? Are time zones going to be impacting that at all? It's also really important that they reciprocate this, because you need to know just as much as they need to know. Obviously, there are going to be times when you're not going to know, something's going to come up, schedules change and stuff like that, but for a general rule to consistently stay in touch, it works a lot better if you just understand each other's schedules. Another really important thing when it comes to staying in touch with people is to let them know when you're thinking about them. You know, when you're walking in a store and you see something that reminds you of that person, and you think about them and you smile and you have a memory, or you just think of them, and then you move along and you feel fulfilled. Don't let your brain trick you into thinking that this is actual communication with that person. It's not. They can't know that you experienced that moment. They can't know that you had that thought. For all they know, you haven't thought of them for a week. So just shoot them a message. It's not like it hurts anything. And then all of a sudden, you're kind of regaining a bit of whatever you had when you were together. If you find yourself particularly bad at staying in touch with somebody, or if you're super busy, you're going through a time when you just don't have time to think about anything outside of your everyday life that's happening to you in person, but you still want to stay in touch, write yourself a reminder. It seems lame. You might feel like you're sort of betraying the idea of friendship to have to remind yourself to text somebody. First of all, they don't have to know, especially if they're like really far away and they're never going to really look at your phone or something. You can write yourself a note. No one's gonna know. Second of all, if they're a good friend, they're probably gonna understand that you have a lot going on in your life. I don't find anything wrong with writing yourself a note to contact somebody. And it's way, way better, in my opinion, to write yourself a note than it is to forget entirely and to miss something important, to miss a planned Skype call or something you had with somebody, or to not talk to somebody for weeks because you just can't think of it. As wonderful as it is to be able to keep in touch with people through technology, it's also important if it's someone you're really close with, so a really close family member, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a really, really good friend. It's really important, I've said really a lot right now, it's extremely important to plan times when you're actually going to get with that person in person. There's just nothing that can match actually being with somebody, being in the same room as that person, sitting next to that person. Of course, if you have friends from all over the world, there's no way you're going to be able to visit all of them all the time, regularly. But for those who really mean the most to you, if they're not with you, you do need to try. As soon as you can nail down that date, and as soon as you can buy those tickets and have it all sealed off, you're going to feel so much better because you have something to count down to. At the end of the day, when it comes to staying in touch with people, I think it's really healthy for you to realize that you are probably just not going to be as in touch with this person. This is a really tough realization to come to, and it's especially hard when it's someone like a relationship or a really, really good friend, a mom or dad or sibling or someone you love a lot. It's tough to think that and to make yourself believe that, but you will save yourself so much energy and anxiety if you can just accept that fact. With really, really close relationships like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, for example, you know that you're going to catch up. You're going to have a long call at some point to make up for the time that you've missed. You're going to catch up when you visit each other. And with relationships that are less close than that, such as like friends from university, like I have friends who I used to see every single day when I was in Bristol in England, and now I hardly ever see them, if at all. I don't talk to those friends every day. I don't have time, they don't have time, we just can't anymore. So it's good for both of you. It's just a lot healthier to realize that some stuff is just gonna be missed. It's okay, it doesn't mean you're failing at staying in touch. It just is normal. I feel like I've been just going on and on for a really long time, so I'm gonna wrap up this video before you guys get bored and stop watching. But I want to end with the thing that I feel like is the absolute, hands down, most important part of staying in touch, and that's just to try. If you really want to stay in touch, if that person really wants to stay in touch, you can make it work. Never stop trying just because it got a little bit more difficult or even a lot more difficult. Don't give up a friendship or a relationship just because it's harder. You might fall out with some people, you might not with others, and I think the key element there in separating those two is trying. So there you have it. There are my thoughts on staying in touch. I feel like I kind of have a lot of experience in this now. Even just the core people in my life, like my boyfriend and my parents and siblings and best friends, I'm either apart from them right now or I have been apart from them in the past few years. So I've learned a lot in the past few years. I hope these ramblings and tips, advice, can it count as tips and advice? I don't know. But I hope it's been helpful regardless, or at least interesting. Let me know in the comments if you're currently in this situation, if you know what I'm talking about, and if you have any tips of your own. As always, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.